Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Sophie King, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about leveraging English learners or ELs strengths in the classroom and building strong connections between home and school. ELs come with unique cultural and linguistic assets, and recognizing those can make a huge difference in how we as teachers support them. Culture has a really big impact on teaching and learning because it shapes how students think, communicate, and learn. Cultural competence is about understanding and valuing those differences, not just tolerating them. When teaching ELs, it's important to use their cultural knowledge to make lessons more relatable to them. Examples of this is like when we're talking about careers. I've seen teachers invite students to share what jobs are common in their cultures and in their families. It's a simple but really effective way to let them bring their background into the conversation. Plus, it makes the content more meaningful to them. According to Garcia and Kleifgen, including students' cultural perspectives can increase engagement and help them connect with the material. Another example of being culturally responsive is using projects where students can choose topics that are related to their heritage. I have seen teachers assign personal narratives or heritage research projects where students share family traditions or stories. This not only supports their language development, but also builds a sense of pride in their own cultural identity. Creating these kinds of assignments helps students see their background as being valued in your classroom. The role of culture in learning is huge because it does influence how students see education and ultimately how they interact with the content. Classroom environments play a huge role in this. If a space doesn't feel inclusive or safe, students are going to shut down. There are so many simple things that you can do, like using bilingual signs or posters that reflect diverse backgrounds. It really does make a huge difference. Also, giving students a choice in how they present their work, like using their first language to brainstorm ideas, can boost their confidence and then ultimately their participation. Some strategies that I have seen work well include celebrating cultural events relevant to your students and integrating home languages during class activities when it obviously makes sense. An example would be allowing students to teach their classmates simple phrases in their home language. It really does create a sense of community. Paris and Alim suggest that allowing students to draw from their cultural and linguistic backgrounds during lessons help maintain their identities while they learn English. Supporting ELs means recognizing that they aren't all on the same level or coming from the same experiences. Differentiation really does become key in this. For instance, visual aids and modeling language use are a great way to help students who are still developing that proficiency. Also, grouping ELs with peers who can support them academically while also respecting their language needs really can help them. Meeting EL's social and emotional needs is just as important as academics. Some ELs tend to feel isolated or overwhelmed, especially if they are new to the language. Creating a really supportive environment with routines that make them feel secure is really essential and really important. I've seen teachers use morning check-ins or journaling as a way for students to express themselves without necessarily worrying about using perfect language. Another strategy that is important is incorporating social emotional learning or SEL activities that help build relationships. Examples would be using group projects where students share stories or their cultural experiences. It helps break down the ice and encourages students in the classroom to appreciate each other's backgrounds. Additionally, offering peer mentoring can give ELs a support system while also building leadership skills for the mentors. One of the really cool things about building homeschool connections is that families have so much to offer, and it's important to see that as a resource. Sometimes family use storytelling or cultural traditions that can actually tie into literacy practices. Finding ways to bring that into the classroom makes learning more relevant and shows a lot of respect for the family's backgrounds. One way to build strong partnerships is by communicating in ways that families can understand, like sending bilingual newsletters or using translation apps when needed. Involving families in projects or cultural celebrations can also show that their input is valued. Plus, collaborating with local cultural organizations can make school events a lot more inclusive. One idea that I've seen work well is hosting family nights where students showcase their work and include cultural presentations. This not only highlights students' achievements, but also brings families into the learning process. Creating space for families to share their own educational experiences can give teachers insights into how to better support their own students. The main takeaway here is that EL's cultural and linguistic backgrounds should be seen as assets and not obstacles. By being intentional about how we integrate their strengths into the classroom, we can create an inclusive and supportive learning environment. Thank you for listening, and I hope these strategies help better support you and your English learners.